We're at Ag Days here in Brandon, Manitoba. Kelvin Hepner with RealAgriculture, joined by Jeremy Hughes of Horsch. And Jeremy, this planter, the Horsch Maestro, getting some attention at the show here, I guess because there's a trend or more interest in planting canola?
Yes, we showing the Maestro for the first time here in Manitoba at the 2017 Ag Days. And one thing that we've been seeing here over the past few years in Manitoba, southern Saskatchewan areas, and even just right across the border in northern North Dakota, is a big swing in crop rotations. A lot of customers are looking more to corn if they're not already. Soybean acres are definitely increasing in the area, as well as the base crop of canola. With the Maestro planter, we've proven here this year through quite a few field tests the yield capacity of the planter when it comes to lowering seed rates. We did some tests just in Langdon, North Dakota this year, where we were doing some comparisons with the single disc drills, coming in at half the canola seed rate and maintaining the same yield. So I mean, the maintaining the yield is definitely there, and also the cost input management of managing the seed cost is there too. And for the customer that's coming in now with more soybean acres, more corn acres, and more canola acres, whereas wheat is kind of going to a third or fourth choice in the rotation, guys are looking more at managing those three crops, which can be done a lot better and a lot more efficiently through a planter than say with a typical air seeder.
Mm-hmm. So has this planter been designed with canola in mind? Traditional planter has been for corn and soybeans. Is this suited for canola?
Yes, we have a special disc that we use. It's a very simple conversion on our meter for seeding canola. The reasoning that the planter works better in canola than say some other technologies that are on the market is just the precise placement of the seed. Canola usually has a very high mortality when it goes through regular air systems and regular air seeders, whereas the planter is a lot gentler on the seed. The other advantage with it is we have pinpoint precision when it comes to depth, as canola is a very depth-sensitive seed. Whereas you take certain technologies on the market, that are presumed to be precise today, like your precision hoe drills, etc. There is still a lot of variation and a lot of outside influences that can affect performance of depth of those machines. And the biggest difference that you have between the planter and those machines is simply your point of seed drop to your point of depth engagement, or gauging your depth. So the point where I gauge my depth at to where I drop my seed at on a lot of machines has got quite a bit of distance to it, so it creates a lot more variability. On a planter, it's an exact line. Where my seed drops is the center line for my gauge wheel. So no matter what terrain that I have in front of me, I'm always constantly compensating for that, versus say an independent shank type machine that has really no way to look ahead or no way to adjust for what's ahead of it.
Another thing that's different or catches the eye is the tire behind you. That's not a typical planter tire.
Yeah, exactly. This has probably been one of the biggest things that guys have talked about, yet it's probably one of the simplest when it comes to the design of the machine. Most of your central fill planters on the market today use smaller rubber tires in the back. They'll use like a set of 4, whatever. The problem with that is those work good in dry conditions, but when it gets wet outside with all that weight, you have no footprint basically to help hold up the machine. And with tires, large diameter tires always work best in mud compared to short, fatter tires. And that's where we have a big advantage. I mean, we get into all types of different conditions with this planter. I'm not saying that it's going to plant, perfectly in mud, but if you do get into a situation where you're going to get stuck or get out, you got a lot better chance of getting out with this machine than you will with something with a lot smaller tires.
Mm-hmm. Does that kind of cover the main stuff, or is there
yeah,
else?
I mean, some of the other points on the planter is we do in-furrow fertilizer.
I'll cut this and I'll ask a question about that.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
What about the nutrient options or in terms of fertilizer placement relative to seed?
Most of the guys that would be using this planter for canola would either be putting their nitrogen down in the fall, say like knifing anhydrous, or they would come in the spring and do a spring spread and then incorporate, prior to using the Maestro planter. The fertilizer options that we do have on the planter revolve around putting fertilizer in furrow. So when it comes to canola, you can put down micronutrients such as phosphorus, sulfur. Guys that are doing soybeans with these machines can put inoculant into the liquid system of the tank. This particular planter behind us is our 24-row 30 planter, has 1,000 gallons of liquid. And the unique thing about our liquid system on our planter is that we basically plumb that very similar to a sprayer. So we have constant agitation in the system, whereas most planters on the market only have an old squeeze pump or an on-demand pump where those other additives and other materials that you'd put in your liquid fertilizer would settle out. So it keeps everything in constant suspension as you're going through the field.
You mentioned this is 24 row. What are the options in terms of widths and row spacings?
Right now we're on two different platforms. We're on a 40-foot platform, and then we're on a 60-foot platform. On the 60-foot platform, we have a 30-inch, a 20, and a 22-inch. And then on the 40-foot platform, we have a 15, 20, 22, and 30-inch configurations.
So several options.
Yes.
Yeah.
One note too, like on the 40-foot planters where we do the 15-inch row option, has been a very popular planter in this part of the world when it comes to the diversity of crops. We know here in the northern plains that 15-inch soybeans tend to have higher yield advantage over say 30-inch. So I can take one machine and plant 15-inch beans. I can do my 15-inch canola, lift up every other row unit, and do 30-inch corn.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Jeremy, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Okay, thank you guys very much.